Hi, my name is Emma and I'm a volunteer museum educator here at Lancaster History. And you might recognize this guy as James Buchanan's nephew, James Buchanan Henry. He was known as Buck Henry, and he was also known as an accomplished lawyer and artist. But what you might not know is that he had another passion for sailing. And today, we're going to recount a story of him sailing that almost resulted in a near-death experience. Now, before we talk more about Buck Henry's near death at sea, we're first going to talk more about his passion for sailing. We're here in the library, and this is where Buck Henry transcribed his uncle's inauguration address. For much of Buck Henry's young life, he followed the career choices and dictates his uncle had for him. Under the firm guidance of James Buchanan, Buck Henry studied hard and got into college, became a lawyer, and then served as private secretary for his uncle's first 2 years of presidency. Now, this is probably a familiar story, one where our own passions don't always align with the hopes and dreams of our guardians. And during these years, Buck Henry began to incorporate his passions for both sailing and art into his day-to-day life. In fact, in the summer of 1858, he decided to take a break from Washington, D.C. and his job as private secretary to go sailing at Lake George, New York. In fact, he would continue sailing at Lake George for many years to come and with his own family. As Buck got older, he also began incorporating sailing into other aspects of his life. He began to specialize in maritime law, and he also loved to paint nautical scenes. However, his passion for sailing would soon lead to a near-death experience. In the summer of 1880, Buck Henry, his wife Louisa Anderson, and their sons all lived in Stonington, Connecticut on the Long Island Sound. This meant that Buck Henry had to commute from Stonington to New York by ferry. On June 11, 1880, Buck Henry boarded the Narragansett from New York to Stonington. However, this ferry would collide with another ferry. It caught fire, burned, and sank. 30 people died. However, Buck Henry managed to survive by treading water for several hours until he could be rescued. This near-death experience did not deter him from his passion for sailing, however. In fact, he would continue to set sail for many years to come.